Alright, and welcome to another battle report. This time it's my Beastmen army versus friends Orcs and Goblins. I have played 3 games prior to this with them, except for the Great Battle I played earlier, and the 2 of the games I played against my buddy who plays Skaven, and I lost those pretty badly, one worse than the other. I had a unit of Minotaurs with Doom Bull and lots of Gores, but not the Beast Banner, stuff like that. Level 4 Shadow, level 3 Beast, differently from the 2 games. And he had a lot of the cool new stuff that Skaven got previously this year, the Storm Fiends and Thanquil and Bone Ripper, the new model with the new rules. And yeah, it didn't go well for me. I tried a few moves and yeah, used Gorgons, cool stuff that is worthless for the points. So, after those 2 defeats, I played that big battle I posted earlier, 5,000 points, where we're allied with the Dark Elves. And now I am playing again with the Beastmen against my friend with the Orcs and Goblins. And I decided to keep up the good work and bring the Gorgon and the Minotaurs again, because I love the models and the fluff, especially the fluff. It's so bad, so cool. So here we have the armies after turn 1, and as you see, after turn 1, after movement on turn 1 for both of us. So I have, as you can see, I have 3 units that are ambushing with Beastmen ambush, and I have a Khazrak One Eye. So I reroll to see if they enter the board. One of the units is 15. 2 of the units are 15 man Gorgons with banner and champion, and one of them has entered here on the left of the board, as you can see, in front of the Doomdiver. And the last one is a unit of 6 Ungors, and they entered to the right here, as you can see up in the corner. And I'll just go with the list other than that. And oh yeah, the last 15 man Gore unit hasn't entered yet. So from left to right, I have a 7 man unit of Ungor Raiders in my deployment zone moved up. I have the Gorgon. I have a unit of 5 Minotaurs with additional hand weapons and musician, and in there is a Gorebull BSB with the good armor save and reroll first save, failed armor save, and the Ramhorn Helm. With them is a level 2 mage with Lord of Shadow. To the right of that unit is 15 Gores. I don't even think they have additional hand weapons. And to the right of that is 5 Harpies. Behind them is some 36 Bestigores, I think it is, with Khazrak One Eye and a level 2 to Lore of Beasts. Yeah, and to the right of those is the last 15 Gores that I had to have in order to have another unit of 15 ambush. So this is after movement. My friend started off with the turn, and in his he didn't move much. In his shooting phase, I used the Chalice of the Dark Rain that one of my shamans had. That is -1 ballistic skill to the entire army for that shooting phase, and stuff that doesn't use ballistic skill roll and enough 4+ they can shoot. And the Doomdiver could shoot and missed its target. So my army efficiently shot down his war machines, and there was a plan with it, so that it could just take good time to maneuver into position and attack where I thought I needed. The game plan other than that was to have my Minotaurs and my Bestigores move up and double charge something, and that's why I placed the Bestigores behind that Banestone there in the middle, because they could move up on either side of it. And I am basically trying to use my 2 15-man Gore units as chaff that is supposed to step on Manglers. There's one Mangler to the right, primed black, and one to the left behind the ruins. You can barely see it. It's proxied by a small squig. You can see the base mostly. All the ruins in this terrain is impassable, by the way, so that was a big deal. So I moved up as this, and the reason I moved my harpies up there was because I forgot that wolf riders have a 4-up armor save. Can have, and I knew they had. I just completely forgot it. I thought I had a higher initiative, has an equal amount of attacks. I thought I could win that, and you know, even if they hadn't had the armor save, I shouldn't have done it. It's a stupid risk to take when I need them so badly to zip on the manglers. So, but I did that in my turn 1, and in turn 2, no, in turn 1 I got the Wisdom's Wild form off in the Minotaurs, trying to protect them with some toughness. The Withering for -3 toughness on the Trolls, lowering them to a 1 just for late in the game. And I got 1 wound of shooting through on the... No, that was Flock of Doom, put 1 wound on the Mangler over here. And in his turn 2... Oh, I messed it up. I got turn 1, but when ambushers enter the game, they can't charge. So I got turn 1, and now it's his turn 1, and he starts shooting stuff. So you can see the casualties there, and the charge from the Wolf Riders. The Goblin Wolf hero there is moving back there to protect his war machine, or at least avenge it. And he takes out what OnG and 4 Gores. And in close combat, yeah, I flub a little. He makes a lot of armor saves, and then he does not flub and kill 3 harpies. But at least they stay in the fight. And that was pretty much what happened in his entire turn. So this is my turn 2. I get the Wisdoms off again on the Minotaurs. Just barely, thanks to the lore attribute that makes it easier to cast on Beastmen and monsters. And then I stupidly removed the Withering from the Trolls to this Mangler Squig here, because my OnG raiders can see it, but you know, there were so many penalties for shooting at them that it was a poor idea, and it's not that important on this one. If I had a chance to kill it, yes, it would have mattered, but I was a little optimistic, just hoping to get rid of it, because I know how devastating they are. So, this is what it looks like, the board, after my turn 2. Oh yeah, obviously, the OnGs and the Gores that ambushed, they charged each of their war machine, and the 15 other Gores that are ambushing also entered the board. You can see them to the right. The 15 Gores obviously killed the Doomdiver and ran off the board. The Goblins killed the last 2 Harpies with no casualties and reformed. And yes, this is what it's looking like now. I think this is my 15 Gores there are fleeing from a charge from the chariot that was made earlier before the Goblins rallied. I'm not sure how this is working out, but this is how it is for some reason. And my OnGs who overran and lost 1 to dangerous terrain are now charged by the Goblin hero here. And here's a fanatic that is out and positioning over here. And after his movement and stuff is done, his trolls has charged by 15 Gores that are more to the left. And yeah, okay, so that was what happened on the right. My 15 Gores that were turning the other way, facing down towards my own table edge, they had fled from the chariot, and here they were caught by the Goblin Wolf Riders. If I had rolled like 7 or more to flee, I would have been out of their line of sight, the Wolf Riders, but I didn't, and well, there goes that unit. Just realizing how poor movement 5 block is to use as chaff. Yeah, I was a little optimistic. And that Mangler Squig with 1 wound on it is closing dangerously in on my Bestigore unit, and I'm not liking it. And I'm feeling that I have positioned it too far back and it's out of place, and it's gonna take too long for it to come up online with the Minotaurs, and then it's gonna block them because the gap is too narrow for both units as they are right now. And I'm starting to think, oh crap, but you know, all is not lost yet at all. It's just not looking so good right now, in my opinion. I'm also liking my Gorgon up there, not too afraid of his chariot, and I'm going to charge that Goblin unit. That is what I am thinking. Now, I haven't been over his characters. He has a BSB with the spider banner in the Goblin unit, so they have poison. Then he has a... in the Savage Orc unit, he has a shaman and a level 4 shaman, a Black Orc Big Boss to Quail Animosity, and a Savage Orc War Boss, a Lord, Fighter Lord. He also has a level 2 Goblin Shaman in the Night Goblin unit as well, and 3 Nasty Skulkers in the Common Goblin unit. And the Common Goblins are quite well equipped. They have shields, light armor, and bows. So they are, as he calls them, his commando goblins. It's because he only has 35, so he's just buffing them up to fill out the core points and to have them be versatile. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's how it is. And in his turn, too, the poison goblins shoot down my Gorgon, and for some reason I just hadn't considered this. I mean, it's obvious with that many poison shots there are going to be enough 6s to hit that it's just gonna die outright, and it did. So man, I'm a little disappointed. I know I shouldn't expect much of the Gorgon for the points, it's just not that good. But you know, I'm always hoping. And over here, on the right corner of the board on his deployment zone, my ambushing Ungors take a wound from the Goblin hero in combat, but roll a 3 to hold the line. So they stay there and hold him up for a turn. And this is the end of the full turn of round 2. And I think maybe that was in my turn too. No, in his turn too. Anyway, it all ends out with the Ungor fleeing there, sharply pursued by the Goblin hero. And in my next movement phase here, I move the shaman with the Lord of Shadow, who has moved out of the Minotaur unit a turn ago and into these Ungors. I move him and his unit behind the chariot. Here's Arc of Sight, so they can be charged, and I'm going to shoot at that. The Minotaurs, they charge into the trolls, kill 3 all told, and overran into the Savage Orcs. So that was pretty cool. Now I knew that this was probably gonna happen, and I am also expecting to lose all the Minotaurs against the Savage Orcs, but I am hoping that my my Gorbull is going to stay there and just start killing the unit, because he is so brutal. He's just a hero, but you know, toughness 5 and 4 wounds and 4 attacks and frenzy and Ramhorn Helm for a lot of counter attacks. I'm just hoping to keep that unit up. Yeah, that's the plan. Just to get something out of the Minotaurs at least. And this is what it looks like after, well, after all that, at the my part of turn 3. And my opponent's turn 3. I am hit by 2 Mangler Squeaks, and my unit is not liking it. I'm also charged by that chariot in the flank, but we haven't resolved that yet. This is just a moving phase. So my Bestigors, half proxied Bestigors, are reduced to like 2/3 strength just by that. Yeah, I know that was gonna hurt when I realized I couldn't get the Manglers before they got to me. So the Goblins, the Poison BSB shoot at my Ungor bunker, and they make a flee move after failing their panic test, and they are below 25%, so they're not gonna rally. So that's most likely goodbye to my Shadow Shaman. Ouch. Look at the board. After movement, it's all done, and going into close combat, movement and shooting. And in close combat, the chariot kills 4 Bestigors with impact hits, and then it is killed by Khazrak One Eye before it gets to swing with anything else. So, I mean, 4 Bestigors is 48 points, and the chariot is 50, so it made its point back, pretty much. And, yeah. You notice the Minotaurs are down to 2 models before, and as you can see here again, they held, they obviously lost the combat, and now in his turn, as you can see here, he charges common goblins into the Minotaur unit, and out comes the 3 nasty skulkers, and his goblin character had joined the trolls for whatever reason. So that's how it's looking over there, or at this point in the battle. So I'm still just clinging to this hope that my Gorbul BSB is going to keep that unit up, because he is pretty tough. I think he has a 1-up armor save that can be rerolled once, which I forgot, but still 1-up. And he's dealing a lot of attacks back to them, so I'm just hoping that he can keep them up. Yeah, just hoping that. This is what it looks like over here. My 15 cores that I ambushed later in the turn 2 are fleeing because the OnG raider fled. So we kinda thought that it was still, if you have a fleeing unit within 6 inches, you take a panic test. So the part of the rules are still in from 7th edition in our head, I guess, but we know that now. So they're fleeing, both units. Ignore that the OnG is facing this way, it was just moving it quickly. And in close combat, it's too bad. Because of the wounds he could do to the other Minotaur that was still alive, even though my Gorbul was in a challenge and wasn't hurt, I still lost combat and I was down on leadership 5, I think, and even with reroll I couldn't make it. So he dies. Too bad. Too bad. If I just hadn't had that other Minotaur left, then he wouldn't have lost combat by... I don't think he would even have lost combat. So yeah, too bad. Should have charged him out alone at some point, I guess. And in his turn 4, he moves up like this. The Manglers are just running wild now, and I'm pretty much out of the game at this point. I have my after shooting last turn, he killed a few of the Gors up on the right corner, and the other Gors down there fleeing, and those 2 units and the Bestigors are all I have left against pretty much his entire army. He hasn't lost anything yet, except for his war machines, actually. Yeah, it's that kind of game. And in his shooting phase, he kills 10 Gors, 11, something like that, a lot. And he, I think this is where he cast Hand of Gorg and moves his Mangler in front of my Bestigors, trying to get me charged through it and take even more casualties, so that he's not gonna flop the combat somehow, just taking precautions. And my Gors rally in my turn, following that, and I shuffle a little to the side and get Wisdom's Wild Form off on my Bestigor unit, and my Gors up in the right corner move closer to the goblins, accepting their fate and just going down in a glorious charge, I guess. Yeah, and that's all I could do in my turn. So on my opponent's turn 5, the Mangler to the unpainted, no, the proxy Mangler, so to speak, bumps a little into the fallen ruin of the arcane ruins there, and bounces back. And the other one, I think the other one went into his unit, hit the impassable terrain, and bounced back on that, so it is standing right there, and took a rank off his savage orcs. But there's still too many of them for me to handle with, you know, war boss, a big boss, and a shaman, and all those savage orcs. They're just too brutal. In his turn, he shoots down the remaining 5 Gors up here, and he Hands of Gorg the Mangler back into position, so that I have to wheel through it if I want to charge this unit. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say, you know, we are practicing for a tournament that he's going to, so we are trying to play as I'm trying to play as an opponent would, and he's trying to play to not take too many chances and throw away a good win, or make it a smaller win that it could have been. So that's why he's doing that, trying his best, and that's why I'm not just saying screw it all and just charging through everything and going down in combat now. So I'm moving back, and in this picture you can see I'm fleeing from his charge, so that I'm going to conserve the points, and he's yeah, not gonna almost table me. And that's the end of the game. So yeah, pretty poorly played on my part. I brought 15-man blocks as chaff, and I positioned my hobbies, or I forgot that the wolf riders had 4 of armor, and even if I used my hobbies very poorly, took a chance with them that I shouldn't have, and I just generally didn't play that well. So I got a deserved beating, and my opponent played very well, using his poison goblins to great effect, and you know, I think it's just a really good army he brought, actually. I don't know how it looks to you folks, but you know, that Night Goblin horde is truly terrifying, because it also has knitters. So if you charge it, he can make a stand and shoot with poison. And that's all, except for the poison he's shot at your units until you come in charge range. And then he has the net, so you're 5 out of 6 times you're gonna have -1 strength. And they're also poisoned in close combat, so you know, they're just gonna poison you to death. You are not gonna kill them all until you are dead from all that shooting and then poison in close combat. So you really have to dedicate a lot to that unit, and I just wasn't willing to in this game, and I'm not sure I had anything that could have handled it, you know, unless I could have brought everything into it at once, and I didn't have that possibility with the terrain. So just very well played on my opponent's part, and not that well on mine, and well, I have to respect him for that. I hope you enjoyed the report, and I'll post another one shortly with a rematch we played a week or 2 later, and I hope you will enjoy that one as well. So have a great time and keep playing.